Well, it's 2021, and there's no shortage of stupid takes on the internet. Of course, that is what a lot of these websites are good for. Nate and I are going to be taking a look today at the idea that men hate women, just in gaming in general. If you are a man, you are probably a misogynist. You probably hate all women, and if you have to look at one even on a pixelized TV screen, I would not be surprised if basically we find you dead, like in The Ring, anytime anyone watched the tape, and you just find them like, oh, dead on the ground afterwards. That's what this games journo thinks that people are like. This games journalist, who I would prefer that you do not contact, like, I don't control what you do at all. You're your own person, but I'm saying from me, don't talk to these people. You shouldn't even engage with them, really, because that's what they want. These people are very self-righteous. They use that to prove their point and be like, oh, look at the toxicity coming from these gamers. See, I actually am in the right, and I'm such a freaking hero.
Right.
You don't want to engage them. Leave her alone. This is where we got it from. Before we hop into it, I do want to say really quickly, Nate and I are also over on our secondary channel, the Let's Play channel, where we are playing through a lot of games. We talk about a wide range of topics from the game we're playing, down to current events, down to TV, movies, books, literally anything. It's just a podcast, basically, where we play games. So if you want to check that out, link is in the description down there, Degenerate Plays. I will also soon be playing over there with my fiance and my friend T, so it'll be a fun time. Now, here's where this all came from. That was a bit of a long intro, but there was a tweet the other day from Mary, which is a girl from Canada. She is a games journalist. And, here's the thing. Games journalists get a lot of hate. I'm starting to think it's rightfully deserved, to be honest. In general.
Because a lot of them aren't really games journalists.
No, and it's sad because there's also a good amount of them that just keep their heads down and do their job.
Right.
And they don't want a bunch of drama, and they don't want to be the center of attention because daddy actually gave them attention.
Right.
And they don't want everybody, to like retweet them and so that they can finally get the attention that they've craved forever. Right. Am I going too far on this?
No, you're exactly on.
Okay. So here's the thing from this games journalist who I don't want you to contact. She said, men, I don't want to play as a girl. And then deal with it. Like she's some kind of freaking hero. She did get her 2.9k clout likes. It's so funny because like if we look under here, she also pointed out Claire Redfield, Lara Croft. We've got Ellie from The Last of Us and Aloy, who Nate always calls Alloy, and it's triggering.
I'm sorry that I'm offending you.
No, I'm just kidding.
You're a games journalist now.
No, so here's the thing with that. When you look at the actual answers underneath of this, which is really funny, I saw some of them too where it was like pointing out, I saw a girl pointing out how this is garbage as well, which has kind of been buried at this point because this person's just been ratioed to all hell underneath the post. But like a girl pointed out, hey, this isn't really true. People don't really do this. People don't really say this. And I'll put the actual screenshot when I find it, since this person getting ratioed has not helped it. But then the person tried to claim like that she was clout chasing under her tweet. Like
right.
I'm being serious. Oh, here it is. Miki, which is at Ebil Miki, which by the way, I checked out her Twitter. She actually seems like a cool person. She had tweeted, in nearly my 4 decades of gaming, I have never heard a man say he didn't want to play as a girl, not only in standalone games, but even in MMOs. Many men specifically choose to play as a female. And what was really funny was this person said, girl, please stop chasing clout under my tweet. Which is basically like, oh, because you ratioed me by getting almost as many likes as me on not your own tweet in a reply, I'm pissed off.
Right.
It's really funny to me, because this person brings up a good point. Like, I've never heard anyone say this. The closest I've heard to this is people who are men who want to play a more exaggerated version of themselves in real life, or from real life.
Right.
So, like, for example, it's not like we sit down and have a Freudian conversation about it, but like...
Well, I do, but...
Yeah, like, for a lot of men, video games are a place where you can feel powerful, or where you can feel like you're more than you are in real life. And not just men, but like women too.
Right.
And the children, as Anakin would say. It's kind of for everybody, that thing. If it wasn't, here's the thing. If it wasn't that, why would some of these same people complain when there's not enough female characters? It's because they want to see themselves in the character.
Right.
And it's easier for them to do that when it's something that they associate with them, right? When it's
right.
So that's always been the point, is like, well, girls need more girl characters. And that's not a problem. I don't care. You don't care.
No one cares.
No one cares, for the most part. A lot of the people who do are trolling.
Right.
They're trying to provoke a reaction out of you because they know that you're that pissy that they can. That's really what it is. They don't care. But if that's fine, why is it not fine then for a man who maybe feels a little less powerful in real life or wants to be like, oh, I'm kind of fat. I want to be like this ripped muscular dude running around in Greece. Why is that a problem for him to want to role play like that if it's not for a girl?
Yeah, I don't know. And the arguments don't make sense either, because her arguments, not just hers, but other people's arguments too, is that men don't want to play as these girls, but if you really look at it, men's minds are pretty simple. I know you pointed this out to me earlier. Just if you make a character who's a female and their story actually makes sense, it satisfies the logical part of the brain for a man. But if you also make them hot, men will play as them anyways.
That's true, yeah. There's a lot of reason why men love some of the Street Fighter characters like Chun-Li.
Exactly.
Now, they are really interesting characters, too. I'm not saying they're poorly written, but Chun-Li being gorgeous is
a pretty big reason why men play as
that's
them.
Not a negative. I know for me, when I sit down and I play a game like Fallout, I want to make a girl because I'm not that in real life.
Right.
So it's the opposite. It's like, it's not that I feel... and I'm not invalidating people who want to, create a version of themselves either. But for me, it's like, okay, I get enough of real life. It's time to do something completely different. Like be something I can't be at all.
Right.
And that's kind of why I do that. But also, if I'm Lara Croft or Sheva from, Resident Evil, it doesn't make a difference to me either. I just care if the character's well written.
Well, exactly. And there's plenty of examples to prove this, like Wonder Woman in real life. A very, very well-written character. And people have loved her for decades.
Oh yeah, they've loved her. They've loved her since before comics were at all popular.
Exactly. Like, if you just put the time and effort into a character, nobody cares if they're a man or a woman. Literally, no one cares.
No, and you're going to be able to find examples of, like, the few fringe people who do.
Right.
Sure, but like I said, I really do believe most of them are trolling. It's to piss you off.
Right.
And you're just letting it. And I get that to an extent because there's things that people do to try to bother me sometimes, and they occasionally will. But I think just constantly feeding this straw man narrative, all it does is bolster it.
Yeah.
And it pushes, like, male gamers away from female gamers, too.
Exactly.
Like, this is why gatekeeping happens, actually, because people will be like, this is the human brain is designed through whatever you want to say. They found evolutionary instincts in the human brain to associate bad experiences with groups of people. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's just
it just happens.
It's just a thing. That's why, like, if a man beats up a woman is going to be more afraid of men. And I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm just saying, like, you've been through a bad experience, and that's an extreme take. But we have this with negative social interactions too. So if I'm on the internet and I say, like, oh boy, I love playing as Aqua from Kingdom Hearts, and this girl comes in and she preaches at me about how I'm actually a misogynist and I hate Aqua, well, now if I have too many experiences like that, I'm going to think, oh, this is how girl gamers are.
Right.
This is the kind of thing that gives them a bad name, which is ridiculous. My fiance is a girl gamer. Your wife, I wouldn't say she's a gamer, but she plays games with you know? It has nothing to do with a group, and it has to do with individuals like this that make everybody look bad. And it's funny because using their argument, they'll say, like, well, there's, oh, you guys say there's no toxicity in gaming. Why am I receiving these threats then? It's like, well, sure. I got, like, a death threat yesterday. Me.
Right.
So was that meant to be sent to a woman? Like, did someone accidentally...
They accidentally did it, yeah.
Yeah, they meant Degenerate Jayla.
Yeah.
They accidentally sent it to Jay.
Exactly.
So how do I forward that to the woman it's supposed to go to? Because only women are getting these.
Right. Right.
I don't know how to get it to them. Am I supposed to send...
You're supposed to find a woman and go send that death threat to them.
You pass it. It's like telephone.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Because men don't receive death threats.
So they threaten me to pass the message on to a woman almost like a... like telephone or like a courier.
Like
the Fallout courier.
You are the messenger.
I'm the Fallout courier.
Yeah,
now.
they send it to you because you're easy to get to, and then it's your job to find a
no
gamer
one wants to
woman.
talk to me.
Exactly.
So
You're
it's, like,
an
it's easy to talk to me.
You are looking for engagement, so they're just like easily like talking to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're supposed to find it and send it to a woman.
And so the funniest thing is, like, look, I don't want people like this to be harassed by people. I don't think anybody should be, even if you're a big dumb idiot. But the Quartering, who is a creator that a lot of people have like negative feelings towards. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not like coming out here like I agree with everything the Quartering's ever said. I do watch some of his videos. I don't think he's really that harmful. I don't really understand it. It just happens to be that he goes against a lot of these narratives a lot of the times, like games journalism. Like he calls it out and says it's dumb.
Right.
And so he said like basically this is stupid. Like he quote retweeted it and just said, "Oh, this is games journalisming." And the person got like really butthurt about it. It was like, wow, today has been such a day. And the thing is, man, like if you don't want to get ratioed, and what I mean by that is if you don't want people to call you out for something dumb, don't say something dumb.
Right.
There's times where I've said dumb things on Twitter and people have ratioed me.
Yeah.
It happens.
Right.
Move on.
If you say something dumb, you've already said something dumb.
Well, and here's why it's so dumb too. Because other than just us saying like people don't care and trying to use that to prove our point, which I don't think really does it fully. If we look at some numbers, the Tomb Raider games have sold over 81 million copies. Now this is physical. I don't believe that digital is included in this because they generally aren't included in anything.
Right. I think that's 81 million women have bought in that game only.
That's my point. So they say that men don't want to play as a woman. Tomb Raider is Lara Croft. This is a woman. Yes, she's beautiful, but she's a well-written character generally.
Right.
Who has a storyline and a story arc and is going somewhere and grows over time. Now, while Lara Croft was a gateway for a lot of younger girls to get into gaming because, when you're a kid, you really need something to be like you for you to relate to it. As you get older, you don't need that as much unless you're a closed-minded jerk, whether you're a woman or a man. Like, I'm just saying you don't need that all the time. Like, if you're a woman, you could still play Spider-Man and have fun.
Right.
Maybe if you have a choice, you make it be a girl.
Right.
But you wouldn't be like, oh, Spider-Man, I'm not going to play that. It's like, no one's like this. If women were so gatekept out of games, like people have said forever, like, oh, well, women weren't really allowed into gaming until the mid-2000s, like 2005, 2010. That's when they started getting into it. Who was buying these copies of Tomb Raider? I mean, it wasn't men, but because men don't want to play as a woman.
Right. It's the family dog.
Yeah, the family dog accidentally sent it. It was even prior to the internet. The family dog was sending in those written-in letters where you have to fill in every form perfectly. You remember those?
Yeah.
Send them in to buy it
that.
with a check from a checkbook. We're old. That's the funny thing about this. 81 million copies, and if it wasn't men, who was it? I mean, if we look at Metroid, which has been a little bit disappointing in terms of its sales overall, but still strong because it's a really good franchise, and people have always thought Metroid is under-marketed. Even it sold 18 million units.
Right.
I mean, if we look at other games, too, you have like Horizon Zero Dawn, that's 10 million copies just from the one game.
And that just came out a couple of years ago.
And didn't include didn't include digital to my understanding, and also doesn't include the PC port.
Right.
Who is buying these games?
Apparently not men.
Apparently not men. And the funny thing is, when you look at games that did badly that women were the head of, they're usually poorly marketed, like Silent Hill 3. Silent Hill 3 is a great game. Now, it arguably followed up the best game in the franchise, which certainly is a difficult task to follow. But it was able to tie in the best parts of Silent Hill 2 and 1 into a completely new story with a really good character. And it was disappointing because it came out in 2003 and it only sold about 300,000 units. That is very disappointing. But the problem was Konami, RIP, because they don't really make many games anymore. I love old Konami, man. They really didn't market Silent Hill well ever. Silent Hill has always had problems with sales.
Yeah, they never really marketed any of their games unless it was Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, and then only the later Metal Gear Solids.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting to me though. I mean, I kind of want to. I kind of also wanted to look at something else here real quick too, because we did have for some really high selling female games, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, 3.5 million copies. This is basically people bought this to play as Jill Valentine. Resident Evil 0, 3.9 million copies. We have the first Resident Evil, again, Jill Valentine, 4.7 million copies. And look, you can say, well, Chris Redfield's in there too. Look, most fans, they like Jill way more.
Right.
That's kind of the, that's the default character for RE1 for a lot of fans. yes, they have Chris, and many people like him, but a lot of people go back to play as Jill.
Yeah, it's kind of like an Odyssey where basically everyone picks Cassandra,
Right.
not Alexios.
Because Alexios' story isn't really quite as well written.
Exactly.
I don't know. What do you think about all this? I mean, I don't want to just say men don't feel this way and say like, well, there we go. I proved my point. I said it.
Right.
But don't you think the numbers back up that that's not really a thing? It has to do more with whether it's good or not.
Yeah, I think the numbers do back up that claim in that men don't really care. You know, like I said earlier, men are pretty simple-minded people, and if you just make a character who's actually likable and has a good story and a good background and the game is actually good, men are going to play the game. They're not like men are not sitting around like with their neckbeards being like, oh, I'm not going to play as a woman. Oh, I'm not doing that. Like, no one cares.
And then you're going to have people who are trying to role play in that thing, and role playing as something more similar to them feels better. But it's not because they hate women.
Yeah, that's a pretty low percent. That's a lower percentage of people.
Yes.
And even their reasoning is not because they hate women, like you said.
No.
It's because they just want to play as someone who's like them.
Right.
Or who they would like to be.
Well, and if it's not harmful for a woman to want that, why is it harmful for a man to want that?
Yeah, and that's my other problem, is there's always some double standards with these people. It's always men are the problem with this thing. It's never women are the problem. And I'm not even saying women are the problem. I'm just saying if it's a problem for men, it's a problem for women. It's not a problem for men, so therefore it's not a problem with women. It's just not an issue.
Yeah, well,
people want to sit on their couch and just put in a game and play the game.
And be impressed.
Yeah, like no one is sitting around like with this stupid self-entitled attitude about them being like, oh, I'm not playing that great game because there's a woman.
So that's the problem, is the self-entitlement. And I truly do believe it's because a lot of these people who got into gaming journalism, and I'm not saying everybody, and I get that having this take could like get my channel like harassed by these people, because as self-righteous and prickish as these people are about harassment and doxing and stuff, they're sure quick to go to it.
Right.
You know, they're sure quick to put you on blast, which is ironic,
But then they get mad when they get put on blast.
Yeah, like her getting put on blast by the quartering. And it's like, oh man, a huge butthurt moment.
Yep.
You know, I think a lot of these people got into it to be journalists who focused on politics.
Right.
Like political, like poli-sci type journalists.
Yep.
I don't think they got into it for video games.
No.
They might happen to like video games. I'm not saying they're all fake and they hate them. I think that's a bit of a stretch, to be honest. But I think that they got into it because it's like, I see these problems in the world and I'm very left-leaning or maybe right-leaning. Some of them are. And they say, like, I need to use my platform to spread the message.
Right.
And look, here's the thing. We talk about sometimes where we lean on stuff, but we don't pretend we don't.
Right.
We don't pretend we're the most unbiased news source of all time. It's like you come here because you like us or you want to hear our take on something. But these people will represent an outlet, a platform, like Game Informer or IGN or Kotaku or any of them, not even anyone in particular. And they'll be the representative of this company. And so they're not just speaking for themselves, they're also speaking for that company. And that company is supposed to be fairly non-biased because otherwise there's no reason to trust their takes, their reviews, their anything. Because you don't know the person.
Right.
You don't get hundreds of hours to watch them and learn their personality like a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer. You just have to go off of what's on the page. And that's why I don't think you can have this kind of crap flying around if you're a literal off-the-page journalist. It doesn't work that way. If you want people to respect and trust you. I saw a comment about this too where the person was trying to sort of claim victimhood after this about like, oh, this will not stop me. You know, I will keep going. And it's like, dude, look, no one's trying to get you to shut up. Like, in fact, I think it's funny. I hope you keep talking because it's amusing. But the thing is, it's like, I will continue to speak out against toxic behavior women experience while working in the gaming industry because it is unacceptable. Okay, well, fine, call it a whataboutism, but what about the death threat I got yesterday for claiming that Fallout 76 had problems?
Right.
Also, who the fuck makes a thread over Fallout 76? That was the funniest thing. I told Nate about it. I sent it to Alex right away from Podcast Now, and I was like, dude, I don't even care, but it's over Fallout 76. Like, please threaten me over something meaningful.
Right.
Like, if I say Silent Hill 2 sucks, by the way, it's one of my favorite games ever. If I say something like, heretical like that, please at least threaten me over a bad take. Not over a take everyone has that's milquetoast. Like, what are you doing here? It'd be like I say murder is bad. Oh, really? Well, we'll see how you
self-delete.
We'll see how you feel when I kill your whole family. It's like, well, I get this stuff. People are mean to me every day on the internet.
Well, yeah, that's because it's the internet.
They try to hurt my feelings. They try and make me feel bad. I've had people tell me they want me to kill myself. I've had people threaten me before. I am a man. And look, I like some girly shit. I love K-pop girl groups. Big fan. Stan G-Idol. I stan Blackpink. I'm just saying, I'm getting out in the open here. I'm not the manliest man ever, but I am a straight white man, as a lot of these people will say, don't get this stuff. And right. I get it every day. What are you talking about? Just people online are dicks. People in gaming are dicks because everyone's a dick. Right. It's the internet. It brings out the worst in everybody. Before we sat down to record this, Nate and I had to actively talk it out so that we weren't just ripping this person for 30 minutes. Because, at the end of the day, I don't want someone to go harass this person. I think that is douchey. And I think that people being toxic in any way is just douchey. But it has nothing to do with you being a woman. It just doesn't. People will find a reason to hate you, whether you're a woman, a man, straight, LGBTQ. I'm not saying some people don't get more, but I'm just saying that if someone's a dick, they will find a reason to hate you. They will latch onto that, they will find your insecurity in it, and they will go after it and hammer on it until you feel like garbage. That's why people online do self-delete.
Right.
Because people go after them. And you can make the argument that, maybe you shouldn't be online then, or you can make the argument that people should be nicer. I think it's a mixture. I think you need to unplug from this crap more often, because people are infuriating. Just in general. I can't spend more than a certain amount of time on Twitter a day, or I get angry.
Right.
And I'm me. I'm not easily offended. I would say I'm easily annoyed by bullshit like this, but I'm not easily offended. And even I'm getting angry at stuff. I'll go on there and I'll be like, what a son of a... just want to go off on someone on Twitter, because these things are toxic, and gamers aren't toxic.
Yeah,
humanity is.
Yeah, right.
We're tainted people who happen to not be perfect, and sometimes we are not raised right and just say really mean stuff to people often. There's a lot of people like that. It's not because they're gamers, it's because their parents did a shitty job. And other people, they've had a long day at work. Maybe they go online, they say something they shouldn't have said, or they don't mean, or they wouldn't normally say. Or some people are just trolling because they think it's funny. There was a whole South Park episode about that. But to always make this about one group, no matter who it is, and here's why I have it the worst. I'm sorry, but people don't care anymore. People aren't buying it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Am I off base here at all?
You're not off base at all. It's pretty pathetic when you think about it, because these are the people that should not be online, but yet they're the ones that are online the most.
One kicking the hornet's nest.
Exactly.
Just constantly.
And the more you attack someone, the more they're going to fight back.
Right.
If you're just sitting there bashing gamers all day and putting them in this weird bubble saying oh, well, gamers are toxic because they're men. Well, don't be surprised when men defend themselves and come back at you.
Get toxic.
Yeah, don't be surprised. Toxic. If you were not such a hateable person online, no one would hate you.
Well, and that's why here's what I do when I'm not saying I handle it right all the time. There's been times where I've been petty. I try to own that. I'm not perfect. But when I criticize something, look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, this person might be very nice. I did kind of say that their take was idiotic, 100%. And I do think it is. I think that a lot of these people are very self-righteous about their takes and stuff. And I stand by that. But I don't want anything bad to happen to this person.
Right.
I don't want people to contact them with threats or mean words or whatever. I think that we should criticize ideas. And sometimes we should point and laugh a little bit at the person who said the dumb thing. But not continue.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's you had a bad take. Haha, that's funny and stupid. Here's why you're wrong. We move on. It's not like we continue hounding this person. I think that's another problem with the internet is people get very obsessed with the thing that they hate. You can see this in the Trump reply people who spent 4 years angry, every day on Twitter.
Right.
It's you're not having a good time, man, and you're not changing anything. I'm not saying you can't have your opinion, but you're just mad all the time.
Right.
I don't want people to be like that. I don't want to be like that. I want to call this stuff out when I think it's stupid. If I get a choice to play as women in games, I always pick it. I will be 100% honest. I see it as playing with a dollhouse whenever I play games. I know that might sound feminine or whatever, but it's the same way as playing with action figures. You know, it's like I'm playing with characters that I want to like role play with and have fun with. Maybe sometimes I want to be, you know, a really beautiful woman, and maybe other times I want to be an absolutely jacked monster of a man. It just depends on the game. It depends on the thing. I think this is very disingenuous and silly, and I guess that's all I have on it. Do you have anything to add? Because I know I kind of turned it into more of a cultural thing about the culture of people like this who always make it about their group, which I'm tired of. I do not advocate for all white men who happen to like women,
right?
Like I do.
Right, you're just giving your take.
This is my take. I don't represent some group.
Right.
Like, you don't want me representing you.
Right.
You just don't want it. I can barely represent myself. I'm a moron.
Right.
But, like, I can admit that. And I feel like these people are so on their pedestal that it's like, I speak for women. I am a hero. It's no one elected you. There's women in your replies saying you're dumb.
Right.
Who do you speak for them? Yes, because they're internalized misogynists. They'll always have some term for it about like why you're in the wrong. It's basically, look, this is going to sound awful, but it's basically the Uncle Tom argument. I'm being serious.
No, it is.
You'll see this all the time with any people group. It's like, if I have a take and you're against me, it's because you're not really like me. I'm not saying that about one specific group. Every group of people is like that.
Right.
It's like an eat your own instinct of like, well, then you're shunned. Get out of here. And this level of division in every level, politics, gaming, entertainment, media, escapism, sports, it's so ridiculous. It's gone from like healthy competition to like, I want you dead almost.
Right.
Like people are angry. And I don't think this is healthy. This amount of division and anger.
Well, it's not. You can't have that much division in your life, not just your life, but in society, and have it be healthy. The problem is everyone puts everyone in boxes. Like, if you're a guy gamer, you're this toxic man that needs to be murdered. And it's like...
Well, okay, to be fair, she didn't say that.
She didn't say that.
But yeah, there is a lot of that push.
And it's just like, look, not everyone's like this.
No.
Most people are not like this.
I feel like it's the same thing. This person had a bad experience with a few people.
Right.
And has put it off on everyone. But when other people do that, it's called stereotyping.
Yeah.
So isn't that bad to do?
You're just internalized.
I'm sorry.
Misogynist.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Are we going to wrap this up? I think we're done.
I think
so. Do you have
yeah.
anything to add?
Not really. I think we've covered it all.
Okay. I'm sorry. I feel like Nate wanted to end this 10 minutes ago. It's frustrating to me, man. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know this was longer. Are you willing to play as a girl and set aside your misogyny
No, absolutely
for a couple
not.
hours? Are you willing to
do that?
Or maybe someone who just doesn't look exactly like you in any way. Maybe you see a character that is atheistic and you're Christian, and maybe you're like,
no.
oh, I can play as them for a little
No,
bit.
who would ever do that?
Yeah, I also think Yu-Gi-Oh cards should be banned because they have magic in them.
Same with Harry Potter.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm so tired of this crap. Everybody's like dumb. I'm dumb too. We're all idiots floating around on a dead rock flying through space around the sun.
Aren't you happy and uplifting?
Look, the world deserves better than these awful, garbage, toxic takes. We will see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day. Please be sure to check out all of the social media where I try my best not to be toxic, but sometimes have a hard time. The links are in the descriptions down below. If you want to find out why you're the bad guy, check those out. We also have a secondary channel where we will let you know why you're the problem. That is Degenerate Plays. Link is in the description down below. We hope to see you there. Have a fantastic day. And as always, stay shui. And not so crabby. Get it, Nate? It's a little pun.
That was bad.